So yesterday, I actually went to charge my Tesla, and I was in a public place, and a guy pulled up next to me who's someone I know. And he had recently got a Chevy Bolt. That's the newest car, the crossover from Chevy, that is fully electric. And we started talking about the relative merits of both cars and what we liked about them and so forth. And I was curious why he got the Bolt instead of the Tesla. He did look at the Tesla, but he decided ultimately not to buy it. And his rationale was that he decided that he wanted to spend less on a car and actually buy a Corvette as his fun car. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, first of all, this car, enormously fun. And it's a lot of fun to drive. Yes, it's not a Corvette, I get that, I realize that, but it's a lot of fun to drive. And if you're looking for a fun car to drive, this might be it. And if you were already looking for an electric anyway, maybe that's the answer. But anyway, that was his choice and what he decided to do. So we talked a little bit about the cars, and he was telling me that his price point was really good. And he wound up getting his Bolt for about just under $27,000. And I'm like, wow. And he goes, yeah, it was a huge savings and it allowed me to buy the other car. And I thought to myself, wow, that's a huge difference. So I went and I looked it up a little bit. And sure enough, the MSRP on the Bolt is around the same price as the Tesla. When it's fully loaded and has all the features of the Tesla, it's around the same price. But the problem is, like with most traditional dealerships, especially the American car companies, everything is options and packages, and you have all these different things you put together. So it's not as simple as saying, I'm going to get this car and here's the price I'm going to pay. So while the MSRP on the car is about that, there are different models and price points that they set up so that you don't pay necessarily the same price for every car that you get. So he wound up getting the lower end car that was missing some of the active safety features and a few of the other bells and whistles that the higher end cars come with. So there's a trade-off in there somewhere. Also, currently, GM and Chevy are offering about $6,000 in savings on the price of a Bolt. They're trying to move the car, so they've reduced the price by actually offering incentives, and there's still a tax incentive available. So between those things, you get a pretty good value on the car. So you have to kind of consider and weigh that. Now, if you load up the car so it has some of the same features as the Tesla, so if you wind up getting upgraded seats, a premium interior, the convenience packages, and the faster charging, the port for the faster charging, you're going to spend about $2,500 more, which puts it closer to the price of a Tesla, though still not as expensive as a Tesla. It's still going to be probably under $30,000 that you're paying for it, give or take, with all the incentives they're offering right now. So you have to kind of consider that. Now, what you don't get is you don't get the cool factor, obviously. You don't get the spaceshipy feel. You don't get the maps and navigation. You don't have a listing of all the charge ports that are available around, where Tesla tells you the superchargers that are around and routes you to them. That car doesn't do that. There's also, I was watching some videos of people comparing them and showing us things, and there's a couple of other things that concern me a little bit when I'm thinking about it. They said the seats aren't as comfortable for longer drives. You know, maybe a minor inconvenience for some people. And also, the way the car works, it doesn't automatically go into regenerative braking. You have to actually put it into that mode so that you can do one-pedal driving, which is one of the coolest features of having an electric car. So while everything else is similar, you have to consider that. The other thing, as I said, it's not a luxury car. It's not a sedan. It is a crossover. It's truly a crossover, and it's a small crossover. So it's sort of the station wagon-y type size. So if you know the Kia Niro, or you know the Ford one, I think it's the Escape, it's around that size. So it's a little smaller, but the space is used well, so you have an opportunity to use your space and sit in and be comfortable. So you have to kind of consider that when you're thinking about it. Obviously, I can't speak to it because I'm not an owner of a Chevy Bolt. I'm only an owner of a Tesla. Now, when I looked at it, I was actually looking at the Kia Niro as a potential option instead of the Tesla. And my sister-in-law wound up buying one and taking it back and getting the Tesla because she really appreciated the Tesla. So kudos to her for, kind of thinking it through. The size and the style and the way it ran was much more efficient for her, and she liked it better. So she decided on the Model 3 instead. So she actually took back her Niro. So if you consider that and you think about what options you have available to you and what things you might want, that size and the way it works may not be as nice as the Tesla. And if you're thinking about getting a sporty car anyway, this may be the car you want. So just something I was thinking about as I was thinking about the price point, because the price point, it's attractive to get the Chevy Bolt. No question about it. The way they priced it and the way they've got some of the discounts and packages available and some of the rebates, it's definitely attractive if you want an electric car. And if I were in the market for an electric car today instead of 2 months ago or 3 months ago, I might actually consider it because it may be a better option. I don't know, but I didn't test drive it. I didn't see it. I've only seen it in video. I've seen it around. I looked at his car. I sat in it for a minute because I just wanted to see what it felt like. And I didn't like it as much as the Tesla. And I didn't like the dashboard and some of the features that were there. And watching some videos, I have some questions that I probably would want answered. But price-wise, if I were just looking for an electric car and just wanted to get into the electric market, that may be the way to go, rather than jumping in with both feet and getting a Tesla, because this is crazy. It's insane, crazy, wonderful, but it's crazy. So maybe that's a better way to go. It's kind of that one step into getting something that's electric and gets you on the path to getting to tomorrow. But maybe you're ready to take the leap on a Tesla and actually spend a little more money and get something that you will absolutely love. He said he likes his car. He didn't say he loves his car. I have yet to meet a Tesla owner who doesn't say they love their car. So just something to consider. Anyway, just wanted to share that because it was something that intrigued me.